Hello there. I reckon I'm an okayish programmer, and I've seen that a lot of people are streaming their work online, and I figured I would try this myself. This is the first time I'm doing anything like this, so if it's any weird or bad or awful, well, that's why, because I'm doing it for the first time. And maybe it'll be fun and I will do this again. We will see. Matrix aside, I want to fix a little bug today, which I've discovered in a program which I actually use myself. Can bring it up right here for just a moment. So this is an IRC client. It's Hexchat. And let's just go here. And it has spell check built in into the text field, so I can write hello world, and that's fine. But if I type hello world, I get the red underline. Let's do it like this. And I actually get suggestions on how to fix it. And I can already see that actually multiple languages supported, which is very neat because I want to write both English und auch Deutsch. I want to write in multiple languages, and Hexchat actually supports that. You can give it different dictionaries to use. One problem I had is I first had it configured like this, so there was a space here, right? Because in a lot of applications, when you are asked to tag something or list multiple things, you can typically put a space between the commas and it works just fine. But this is actually to be taken literally, in that you definitely cannot put commas there. So because if you do, let's write some proper German. You have to trust me that it's proper German. So this is proper German. Das Pferd frisst keinen Gurkensalat, but it's all underlined because the spell check is not enabled. Now it's enabled. So this is a bug in my opinion. In fact, if I look at the source code for this application, which I find is hosted on GitHub, if you look at the issues, there's 724 issues. Oh dear, so but this is, for example, a bug that was submitted more than 1 year ago. And there they have added multiple languages and it doesn't seem to work. And I've seen another thing, right? Here it's configured to be ENGB NL NL, so with a space, right? So they're probably having the same problem that I'm having. Yeah. So I have to admit I didn't look that closely through the bugs, but I find that I think it's probably that. We should look through the pull requests as well, which of course is like other people have submitted code to be added. Some of these are pretty old, so even if I do write a patch, I'm not entirely sure if it will be merged anytime soon. It's always interesting to see like how active are these projects. I mean, there was a release this year, so maybe it's reasonably active. I don't know. Yeah, let me just first of all try to pull the most recent version of the software, because I am using 2.143 and the latest version is 2.16.1. So of course the first step I want to do when fixing a bug is to look at whether maybe it has already been fixed in the upstream version. and then we don't really have to do anything. Let me just very quickly sign into YouTube, to GitHub, so we can check it out with with Git. I think they don't allow you to do anonymous Git checkouts. Oops. Let's put it here. And of course, the first step when picking some random open source tool and trying to hack on it is figuring out how to build it. Yeah. Okay. Often, like, readmes will have a section called just install. Or compile that tells us how to build it, but there doesn't seem to be any such file here, which is unfortunate. That said, I do see a Mason.build, Mason, I don't know, file, which I believe is some kind of build system. So I've actually never used, I don't remember how to use Mason. I've used it before. So this is pretty neat. So you can see me trying to figure this out. So maybe you can just, let's do it like this. So of course, a big job of programming is to just follow guides. So I'm just gonna follow this guide. Okay, so here we set up. Is it installed? It's a high productivity build system. Well, that's certainly exciting. Maybe I didn't actually have to do that. I don't know. Oh, it's for this example. We can get rid of that again. Sorry. All I had to do was apt install Mason, but I like to keep my system somewhat clean. So yeah, now it's installed. Yeah, and I have to call resource because my shell caches like stuff on the path, so for autocomplete to work, it's a bit silly. So we're just going to set up the build directory. And now we are missing dependencies. Oh, that's reasonable because Hexchat is a GTK application, and we need the GTK libraries to do that. So in fact, maybe it would have been good to run this. Well, I guess we need GTK. I guess we need GTK2 libraries. And this is always fun. Like with many modern programming languages, they just like there's a standardized format for dependencies and stuff. But here, I mean, maybe there is. But I'm just gonna use my package manager, my operating system package manager to pull in the dependencies. And this is quite common with C projects, unfortunately. And it can be quite a pain in the ass to find all the dependencies. So now we need LuaJIT. What we could do is take a look at what Debian is doing and just compile that. Yeah, we can do that. Because of course Debian has a package for Hexchat. And we can run this build deb Hexchat. And it will pull in everything that is needed for a Debian build. Which we will probably need, like for a Debian build of Hexchat, which we will probably need as well, but it didn't see any Lua there. Yeah. So maybe this is like new. Maybe this is just an upstream and disabled in the Debian package. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep trying. You need to kind of do this, and of course you kind of accumulate dependencies on your system, which is kind of shitty, but whatever. So we get little no's here, but I don't think it's too bad. So it's complaining here, but I think it worked. So we have plugins. I guess this is just enabling all plugins, and it's using Ninja to build it. So I guess Mason is there to create the build file, and then did it work? Oh yeah. So now we have the build.ninja. Ninja is a build system, so we can type Ninja, and it will build the project. Okay, did it build it? Mason compile. Once the executable is built, we can run it. Well, it didn't seem to have built it, did it? Okay, I guess it put it there. FE, what else is there? Just curious. But yeah, so now we have a binary which we can run. I don't want to break my... Before I do that and potentially corrupt my installed version, like the config, I kind of want to back up the configuration file for Hexchat. Sometimes they say like files in the, like Vim probably has that. Yeah, so sometimes they tell you which files are important, but I guess I'm just gonna... Let me just very quickly search my home directory for everything related to Hexchat. Oh no, we get all the build tier stuff, but it's in .config, I guess, yeah. Yeah, it's probably sufficient to just let's create a backup directory, but that's not created. Sorry, I know this isn't very interesting. I know this isn't very interesting, but .config Hexchat. I'm just gonna copy it here so we have it stored. For context, remote is not actually remote. It's not a network file system or anything. Right, so that's just like my main disk, but it's synced to a remote server occasionally. So I guess it's somewhat remote, and it's backed up. Like everything in here is backed up. So, okay, we copied the thing and now we can run it. Well, Doesn't seem any different to me, but it is version 2.16.1. So building this actually was pretty easy. I am glad. Can be quite a pain in the ass to get these builds to work. Okay. Ooh, what's that? Do you see that? Kind of getting my background in here when it's resizing. Yeah, that seems fine. I don't know what that was about. This is not what we are here. We're here to check out if this is still broken. Hello world. Yep, this is still broken. And there we go. So what I would like to do is to change it where the space is simply ignored in the in the selection of languages. So that way you can put a space there if you want to, or really just any kind of white space characters. Okay. Okay, so now how do you do this kind of thing? So this is a GitHub project, and what you do on GitHub is when you signed in, this is kind of shitty because you have to sign in, but you fork it. How do you fork it? Do you have to make it smaller? I'll click here, right? I don't do this that often. I don't know. So maybe development takes place on another branch and not on master. It's fine. It's fine. So we're just gonna fork master here. And now we're creating our own copy of it, which is not necessarily a way you have to do it, but it's the way I'm going to do it. So let's check out this one, and I guess we should build it again. Just to make sure. And while, I mean, it should work, right? Yeah, it's fine. I'm curious why the build doesn't show up. Yeah, I guess build.js is the standard name for doing this. So they added it to the gitignore file. Yeah, so now I want to see how their branches are called. If they have some kind of convention. Not really. Because sometimes people use like feature, bug, or something as a prefix. But here people just, they don't really care. So ignore space in language selection. Spell check. Let's call it white space. And then we push that branch. Well, we don't really have to do that here, but yeah. Okay. Okay. Now this is where the fun begins, because we have to figure out where exactly this code even gets parsed or anything, right? So in fact, for this, I'm gonna do a build. Let's It's not that huge of a project, and my computer is somewhat fast, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'm just gonna put this on this side so I can quickly launch it. So settings, it's somewhere in the settings for sure. And here it says dictionaries to use. So yeah. Let's just grab for it. So these are all the translations. PO. I guess PO is translations. I'm not really sure what PO stands for. It's PO files. Oh, it's get text stuff. I've never really done much with get text. I just know that it's some localization thing. So yeah, PO. Dictionary is called PO. That's reasonable. So let's not include that in our results. But we have a setup file. Huh. So let's just open up editor. FEGTK. I mean, maybe this is an H file. Huh. I've also never really done GTK programming, so this is new in many ways. New to me, but I guess this is just setting up the UI. Input box settings. Use the text box font and colors. Show nick box, show user mode. Yeah, I mean, this is setting up the UI. So what I would like, I mean the text or whatever. I'm getting a lot of like errors because it didn't configure auto completion. Maybe I should do that first because I'm using, I don't know how to do that. So programming is also taking a lot of detours. You have to kind of keep it in your head. Oh no. Oh, I guess we do. That was a bit fast. But maybe. I mean, it is called Ninja if it's fast. I mean, we can try this out. So if I go to setup.c again, well, I'm certainly getting way less errors and warnings, so that's good. Let's go to that part again. Spell checking. Yeah, look at that. That was actually pretty easy. And maybe I can even go to definition. Oh my god, this is so nice. I know, like, this is like if you're using an IDE, you maybe don't even think about this stuff. But it can be a pain to get this to work correctly. Anyways, so here are all these labels, but it doesn't really feel like this is like basically what I want is the name of this little text box here. If I had that, I could grab for that name and oops, wrong. So, I mean, there's hex text spell lengths. Sexy spell entry. Okay, that sounds promising. Because maybe, like, this is somehow, again, like, if you know GTK, like, this will probably be obvious to you, but I'm kind of completely in the dark, so this is fun. But so maybe this is actually the text box, and you can kind of define like the label, which comes, you know, here. And if it's a toggle, right? Because if it's a toggle setting, you can toggle it. If it's an entry setting, you can enter something. So maybe we've already found our little text box. And I mean, we have this go to definition thing now. Okay, it appears to be a string. That is good. Apparently it needs to be shorter than 64 characters. It's also like a plain C string. This sexy file. Why is it called this? I mean, I'm all for more sexiness in software, but this sounds very promising. I just want to see what was done on this file. It has been around for a long time. For what it's worth. But why are we here? We're here for this line potentially. Activate spell checking. This is why docstrings are so great. Activate spell checking for languages specified in the text lang. All right. So what I like to do is to check whether what I'm thinking is actually true. So I would very much like to print this out on the command line. So you can see if it's actually the value we think it is. Of course, to print it out, I have to know which type this even is. So it's just a char. I'm not sure if it's zero terminated. I wonder. Because of course in C, strings are just values in an array. And if like the last like after, like in an array, right, you have stuff like A, B, C, and then the last value is just 0, and that's the end of the string. And I'm not sure if they include that here, but I guess G string dep. Oh, well, why are they using G string dep and not? Maybe there's error checking, because there's no error checking being done here. What's a G car? Duplicates a string. Okay, the value is a null terminated UTF-8 string. Cool. So we can print this out. What I like to do is this. I don't need the help here. This is new. I upgraded my editor just a few hours ago. It's now Helix, what is it? 2208. So maybe not everything is how I expect it to be, but this is okay. I mean, this is bad, right? It's overwriting the thing. Well, hex t text spell length. Save. And I'm gonna have, was it line? I forget. I forget. Yes, line is okay. Yeah, this is fine. I like to do this so I know where I am. For a simple case like this, it's probably not that important. So anyways, now we've made a little change. We can check that with Git. Like, I do that a lot. And this is unfortunate. Again, maybe I don't really understand how my editor works at this point. But it is Helix. It's very cool. It's a new editor developed in Rust. Aside from that, well, we've made a little change. Let's actually build it. And that worked like this. And we can start our just patched version. So, oh, this is exciting. You can't see that yet, but it's working. So, so here I'm running the thing I just built, right? And you can already see that we're getting out our thing here. And if this is like the error already, right? If we do that, I mean, we still get the full string, but I bet that yeah. So what it should be doing here is splitting it up, right? So in the when it's correct, when it's how it expects the values. Right? You get, oh, it's not how I expected it at all. Because I thought here it's, you know, tokenizing or splitting by the comma. Oops, I printed the same thing again. So yeah, now it's correct, right? So you can see that right here. It's correctly splitting the two things, but if I put a space there, yeah, now we get this. And I suppose that it's not really what they wanted, what they had in mind. Maybe it is what they had in mind, but I think that's really bad. So, and I mean, that then gets passed to other stuff. So I think we will fix it right here. The question, of course, is how do we do this? I mean, I don't think with UTF-8 it is a problem to split at these specific bytes, like for comma and space. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's fine. So we will probably not have problems with Unicode. I'm not 100% sure, but if it worked for ASCII, that's already an improvement. So I know that string talk, you can give the limiter more stuff. So you can give it multiple tokens. So I can just do that. But I think what's even better is to have a constant. How do they do that here? I guess they don't really use const, or do they? Only when they have to. Wrong. Const gcar. Do they put the star at the name? They do. So it's delim. And it's gonna be this and a space, and we will put more there in a second. And then we need to do it here as well. And maybe that already is the fix. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, let's try that out. And oops, look at that! Look at that! Already? It's better, so I can just go here. I wonder if my password is written here somewhere. I hope not. If it is, oh, it is right there. Look at that. Is that my password? I'm not 100% sure. I will just very quickly validate. But I guess I will have to change the password of my IRC bouncer. It is not, but I'm not 100% sure what this is. Yeah, I will have to take a look. Please don't hack me. If you do, please be nice. You can write me a message on IRC if you want. But anyways, that aside. So if we do it like that, it works. Yep. If we do it like that, it works. Yep. And I guess in theory, like this should also work now. Oh, this is kind of bad. Because now this text down here is wrong, right? Oh geez. Oh geez. What we could do is we could create a copy of the string, because I think that kind of goes against the documentation and the thing, so that's bad. So while this works, this is not really a great solution. So what we can do instead is create a copy But we already have a copy. Right, langs, it's just... We can just use langs. We can create a copy and then trim out the white space characters, and then it would be fine. Now the question is, how do we do that? I could do it manually, but maybe there is a quick way. GTK string remove chars. Oh, heavens! Isn't that exactly what we want? Well, not quite. Because we would need a G string, but we have no such thing. I'm not sure if they use G strings in this code base. Sometimes they do. They do use G char way more often though. I mean, this would be the right way to do it, right? String strip. Okay, so what we maybe could do also is could trim lang here, right? Why is this no link? Ooh, this is maybe what we want. This is maybe what we want. It changes it in place. What is this though? So this is leading and this is trailing. So we're gonna do both, I think. I guess this isn't actually available to us. Why not? Look at that. It's just doing a chomp and a chug, which is exactly what I would have done. So, but it says here that it's not directly available. But you can use it, right? Yeah, it's defined in the setter. I think it's fine. You can use this function. So let's actually not do that, but instead let's be naughty and just do it in place. Oops. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this thing here right away because I need the place in the code. Yeah, this is really bad. It's like writing, as I'm typing the function, right, I need the context. I love the Helix developers, but I think I'm gonna change that in the settings if I can. So anyways, here now we're just stripping lang, and it's an operation that's done in place. So it should be fine. And lang is zero terminated because we are using string talk. I think it'll be fine. Maybe. Maybe it will explode. So now everything is fine because... No, it works, right? This is it. Like, this is the fix, I think. Hello Welt. Hello world. I don't know if this is correct. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this is the patch. So this little error, or this error is actually just a very tiny change. Yeah. This is neat. Let's see if it breaks in weird ways if we have it empty. Yeah, this is good. This is good. I think this is good. Like, this is fine. So let's just close it. Again, let's look at the diff. And of course we want to remove these comments, these printf statements, because you absolutely do not want programs logging all that stuff in standard operation. But let's check again. So now we have a space in here. This is some German. Hallo, wie geht es dir? Hello, how are you doing? Same thing. If I remove the space, oh, it still works. So no existing configuration breaks. If I have just one, it should work just as fine. Yes, well, no, because the DE is missing the German. So no, the German isn't working anymore. I guess S and D are English words. Can do this as well. Now it's flipped. And if we have I mean, you can also do this now, right? But whatever. I think, yeah, this fixes it. This fixes it. Good. Good. So I'm pretty proud of myself. So let's look at what we did. So we want to add that. We don't want to add this other stuff here. So don't commit that. And let's take a look at their build logs and kind of get a feel for how their, not build logs, but commit logs, kind of get a feel for how that stuff works. So I mean, now that I know where the error lies, I can very quickly see if there are any pull requests open for that particular file. And be very disappointed if it is. I don't even know if GitHub works like that. So if if I put in a file name, modes.c, if it will even find that. Not really. Because with a project this big and old, whatever. We'll try our luck. So I guess they have this person. Sadie Cat is doing a lot of work. And they are doing that kind of style. I'm kind of maybe overdoing it. So support white space in and you support white space between language codes. So far when configuring multiple languages, spell check languages. Hexchat requires the user to separate multiple entries with commas and only commas. White space. This patch allows users to also enter white space, e.g. as is common in many. Alright, support white space between language codes. So far, when configuring multiple spell check when languages, Hexchat requires the user to separate multiple entries with commas and only commas. This patch allows users to also enter white space, e.g., as is common in many applications. So this is looking good. Oops. We can push this. And yeah. I like to have these things like that, and I'm gonna reference some of the issues. Multiple spell. Yeah. So, not working. So So this is Markdown, so I guess we gotta remove the new lines. Did I? No, it's fine. Ooh, did we see that? We didn't see that. So I'm gonna fix that first. I have a typo in here. So we're still on our own branch, so we did not commit it yet, luckily. I'm not sure if Helix, the text editor I'm using, has spell check. If it does, I should enable it. I think I looked through the documentation very quickly and didn't find anything. Because I really think spell check is a useful feature, which is why I worked on this little patch. I believe. I believe this patch may be relayed. That's called issue. I believe this patch may... All right, so again, I guess I don't really care about casing, and let's just keep it like that. I like to have my titles to be like actual English titles where the first letters are capitalized for longer words, but whatever. Requires allow edits by maintainers. Yeah, create pull request. And they seem to have a lot of automation going on here, which is very interesting indeed. But of course, the main thing to do now is to wait for the feedback from the maintainer, and this can take a while. These are people that have, you know, lives going on. They have day jobs, they have friends and family. So sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating when it takes a long time for someone to merge your patch or even take a look at it. But I guess we should just be thankful that they do all this work. And just as I am thankful to you for watching this. So as I said at the beginning, this was a little experiment. I've never really recorded a video before. It was fun. Feel free to leave a comment. I'm gonna put the link to the pull request in the description, so you can take a look at it, its current state. So thank you, happy hacking, and goodbye.